right about this time. Suckah Shyt.
Man, I was thinking, man.
Uh-oh.
I was with my mom, hanging out with her, and my mother's an avid shopper. Okay, she's a shopping ninja, as a matter of fact. And she was talking about how she had to wean herself off of QVC. That she would find herself on QVC at all times. Now, well, QVC is the shopping channel, and you can get paprika or sweaters at 3 a.m.
This is true.
They got everything, right?
Or watch.
And so I was thinking, that's how many of our women live their lives. They have this game plan. I'm gonna mess around in my 20s. I'm gonna get my degree. I'm gonna travel, and then at 35, I'm gonna go on QVC and I'm gonna get a husband. But the cable ain't working. And that's why many of y'all still alone. And I normally don't even say anything to y'all. But your QVC plan ain't working. So I'm sorry, sisters. I love you. But the QVC sisters, you on some sucker shit.
And there it is. All right, cool. Welcome once again to Skinny Black's Lounge. My name is Rob, aka Skinny Black, and across from me we have my man
JT, period is silent. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, and next to JT we have our regular guest. Yeah, Rennie's not here today for this one, but that's cool.
Shout out to Rennie. Before we even begin,
Shout
shout out to Rennie. He's on a paper chase. I love you, Frenchman.
My man. So let's get into it. So today is kind of a special day for us at Skinny Black's Lounge. We are making a pivot. And so that pivot is toward clarity. And so when I say that pivot is toward clarity, there are three things that we want to be clear about that we shoot to shift and transform in our community as black men. The first thing is we shoot to change the narrative of black men, the erroneous narratives of black men, the negative narratives of black men. Second thing is, in changing those narratives, then we change the narratives of our black relationships, and our especially the black relationships with our black women. And in shifting those narratives and shifting those relationships, we invariably change our black communities and strengthen our black communities. So I know it's a high bar, but shit, we should shoot for that. So in that, there are a couple of things that you'll see different here at Skinny Black's Lounge that we will start at some point in our show. We may even start out the show doing something that we call data points. So in order to cut through the rigmarole and the bullshit of how people may feel about our show and feel about our content, we'll just start out with some data and we'll just work from there. So you'll see more data points, you'll see more connects and links to websites, to papers, to articles, to clips scholarly clips that we'll start our conversation from. Today won't be that day. So we'll reference folks in the field, and when I say the field, another introduction, an introduction to the Black Manosphere. Black Manosphere, some people may call it red pill, some people may call it whatever. What it is, the way we see it is basically standing on our square as black men and standing up for truth. And in standing on that truth of who we are, then we invariably change the narrative of how people see us through our actions, through our words, through our commentary. So we will reference people, Dr. Tia Johnson, the Black Pill Gnostic, Green Gorilla, Kevin Samuels, Noop, shout out, Fit and Fresh, mediocre tutorials and reviews. It's a bunch of cool cats out there who are doing some really good work on social media, that they're out there doing yeoman's work, been doing the big lifts to really change how we are seen in this society. So I encourage everyone to jump out there and check out those and support those cats too. Before I get into this next piece, would you like to add anything to that?
Nah, man, you don't need no Lowry's on that. That's well seasoned.
Okay, cool. So today is also a special day because one thing we haven't done, given our origin stories. And so today you'll get a chance, sneak peek into our experiences and lives that brought us here and made us who we are today, as we see it. And so with that being said, I'll start with mine.
Well, you should.
So real simple. Born in LA. My folks, mom is from Alabama. Dad is from Ohio. They met here in LA. We don't have to go deep into that. But when they divorced, I was around 2 years old. My mom moved me back to Alabama. My mom, she was 5'11" and a half. I'm 6'1"
and a half.
And so being raised by her, basically 9 months out the year, and I spent my summers out here in California in Compton with my dad. She was a dominant figure in my life. I had some great uncles, great men in my life, but the woman in my household, she ruled with an iron fist, and she was scary because she was 5'11" and a half and shit. So around the time around 13 or 14, she started dating my eventual stepdad. My stepdad, this dude was like 6'5". He was a huge cat, which makes sense, right? Something shifted. So he would come over and she would be like, "Hey baby, what would you like to eat?" Man, she'd be rubbing the shoulder and she'd be like, "Want me to fix your plate, baby? You want me to run your bath for you?" And I was like, who the fuck is this woman? This chick been banging on me for 13 years, man. I don't know this chick, right? And so the reason I bring up that example, and I'll dig into some more that connected to that, what that means. The reason I dig into that is because that shaped how, up to that point, I saw women a certain way. I had a single grandmother with five kids, 4 different dudes, and Granny was the hammer in the family, right? My mother's 2 sisters, one of them, who happened to be the youngest, she's the hammer, you know, in their generation. She's straight shooter, straight. I love her to death, man. But we had these really solid, dominant women in our family. And being in a household with my mom, she was a little softer than those two. But in the house, she felt like, she told me this later on when I was an adult. She said she felt like she had to be a certain way because I was a boy. Okay, I get that. Mm-hmm. So she ruled with an iron fist. So anyway, so I say all that to say, those women shaped how I saw women, right? It was like, so, and the men, my uncles, were some dope cats, right? My stepfather was a dope cat. I didn't appreciate him till later on, but that's another story. But these were some dope cats. And one thing that I saw this, and even the pastor of our church when I was growing up, grew up Pentecostal, even the pastor of our church was a woman, right? So wasn't no big deal about women having authority or control. Wasn't no big deal. I'm just like, I see that shit all the time. Shit, even in my household growing up. But when I saw my mother with my stepdad, and this dude didn't even live with us for most of the time till after I was going off to college. But he used to come and visit because he lived in Birmingham. It was like an hour away. So the weekends, he was there in the house. And she was a different woman. Mm-hmm. changed my whole narrative about this dominant woman. And I was like, that works for them. And then I start peeping out my uncles and my aunt. So my dominant figure aunt, once I start unpacking conversation with her about her relationship with my uncle, she would say, oh yeah, I'm X, Y, and Z. But when he say, that's it, oh, that's it. You know, my cousins had some health issues, but my uncle worked steel plant. He made good money. My aunt didn't have to work. She did for, you know, she made a little side money or whatever. But he took care of everything. If she wanted a new car, she got a new car. They had their own house. She wanted another house. She wanted a house. They ain't want neighbors, so he bought a property. Or it was a house next door. They tore their house down and it was their whole property, right? He provided like a motherfucker, right? So, and he was protected. When our house got robbed, when we was in the projects, he showed up. My mom called him. He showed up with his Tech 9. Was like, I got you, you know? So he was, you know what I'm saying? That was that dude. If you wasn't paying attention, you would say, you know, with my aunt, with how she got down, you would say, oh, well, she run that house. Nah, man, as a kid, you see one thing, but as an adult, you really got to dig into it and ask these questions and examine, you know, these are influences in your life that bring you where you are and who you are. And to see them together change, to ask the questions and have the conversation with her changed how I saw relationships. And then seeing my mother, you know, really change how I saw roles in the household. So I'm gonna stop there and catch my breath.
No, that's dope, man. If you don't mind me asking.
Go ahead.
You said your grandmama
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
4 by 3?
She had 5 by 4.
5 by 4. So, was grandma chasing Streetwood?
Bro, apparently.
When you come to the realization that grandma was for the streets.
Apparently. Before she got saved.
Before she became mother. Not your Mother Johnson with the white hat on.
Before Granny got saved,
Before
man.
she got her spot in the 3rd row. She was for the streets. Oh, that's messed up.
You know what? No,
that's a man shit right there.
And I'm gonna tell you, that's a real question because I cracked my mom about that. I was like,
hey man,
4 dudes, huh?
I got it on my side too. That's what it's like. Oh, grandma, you was fast on the motherfucker.
Yeah, grandma was getting it in.
Before you was Mother Thomas, you was loose lip Shirley.